What's up, YouTube? This is JP Panther back with another video, and tonight's video is Black Panther 2 and what I feel like the sequel will be and what storyline they will use. It's something I really want to talk about because with Phase 4, Phase 5, and it seems like Black Panther 2 is going to be in Phase 5. It's going to be like starting the summer, and I really want to talk about it and really get into it, so let's get into the video. In my personal opinion, Black Panther 2, when they do the sequel, my prediction, this is how I truly feel. I think they're going to use the Atlantis versus Wakanda storyline. And the way they set it up in Avengers Endgame, if you watch Endgame, how the way they set it up was really, really strategic, really, really smart. They dropped in the Easter egg where Rocket, Nebula, The Walking Dead, female warrior chick, and Captain Marvel, they were in a hologram, and Black Widow's talking to them. And she pretty much says to Oki, there's an earthquake under the, there's an earthquake under the, they pretty much talk about there's tremors, there's something under the ocean. They're saying that there's an earthquake under the ocean. And she says that we're handling it by not handling it. That, if you don't know, guys, that is a Namor the Samaritan Easter egg. It really means that Namor is really about to unite the 7 underwater kingdoms, Atlantis, to slaughter the humans and the colonizers to make Atlantis great again. So that's pretty much Namor's ideology. If you don't know, Namor is like Marvel's first Aquaman. He's created in 1939, like one of Stan Lee's first comic book creations and stuff like that. So if you don't know, in the comics, he's more of an anti-hero villain. He's Black Panther's villain, but then in the comics it's kind of iffy because he be siding with the X-Men, then he go against the X-Men. He sides with the Avengers, then he goes against the Avengers. So his comic is always like it's always mixed. You know what I mean? Like it's always up and down. So in the comics with Atlantis vs. Wakanda, at least again, I'm highly going to do in the movie, but in the comics, Namor is tired of the colonizing the humans polluting and poisoning the ocean. They oppress them. They do everything, like poisoning the waters, oppressing the Atlanteans, using them as experiments. So Namor has so much hatred and rage that he's like, we're gonna unite all of I'm gonna unite all 7 underwater kingdoms, use them to slaughter the humans and the colonizers and make Atlantis great again. So that's pretty much his political views and their ideology. And T'Challa, who is the king of Wakanda, who's just as powerful. Wakanda is just as powerful and as intelligent and has many weapons and resources just as Atlantis. And T'Challa comes in there with his Wakanda army because of like Namor. Not only is he going to destroy, the colonizers and the humans, but he's also going to destroy the world. So in the comics, Namor and T'Challa, they fight because T'Challa is pretty much being a savior and Namor is being a demonic villain. But in his political ideology and views, he believes what he is doing is making Atlantis great and helping his Atlantean people. And T'Challa is not going to let that because he's going to blow up the world. So Atlantis, Wakanda, they fight. And the problem is in the comic books, it's kind of like iffy because there's not one particular pure arc of the Atlantis vs. Wakanda. Some of it's in the 2006 era, the War of Two Kings. Then there's some of when it's Atlantis vs. Wakanda, and then like the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. Then you have the X-Men vs. Avengers, where Namor gets the Dark Phoenix power, and he gets super powerful and uses the trident to destroy Wakanda. Actually, he does destroy Wakanda. So the storyline is all iffy, and what I remember from the Atlantis vs. Wakanda battle is that Namor and T'Challa, they fight, and T'Challa beats Namor, and he defeats his Atlantean army. Pretty much he beats Namor and locks him up in Wakanda jail, and Atlantis pretty much loses the battle. That's really all I remember from the arc. And again, when I do the movies, it'll be a lot different and stuff like that. And hopefully if Ryan Coogler does it, he could take these storylines from the comic books and put it in his own movie where he could change it up and do whatever he wants, but he still uses the source material from those comic book storylines and makes this his own. Because it's hard to just have a particular 100% comic book accuratization of Atlantis vs. Wakanda if they do Black Panther 2. And I just feel like they're doing Black Panther 2 because that storyline is a really great storyline if you're putting in a summer blockbuster, because I love the first Black Panther, but that's more of a Lion King, Game of Thrones, had that kind of Avatar feel a little bit, where it's like, you see black representation, Afrofuturism in a positive, mainstream level, where it's not degrading and it's not embarrassing and stuff like that. So Black Panther, the first one really worked with the first one worked at the right time and right place, and they put it in February, so it was a dead month, and and they have to deal with as much competition. Now with Black Panther 2, this is what's the interesting part, right? They're going to use that. They're going to put this movie in May 2022. That's like an Avengers Civil War release date. So it shows you that they really want to make sure that this movie... It shows you that the studio really believes in a product, because if they're putting it in a summertime rather than February, that means they believe it'll make a lot more money during the summertime than in February, because during the summertime, a lot of people are out of school, out of work, and stuff like that. So people are rushing to go to movie theaters during that time. And if you have an Atlantean versus Wakandan on a summer blockbuster season, everybody and their grandmother's going to go see Black Panther 2. And the problem is, what I read in Black Panther 2 is that this movie takes place after Endgame. So if you have not watched Infinity War and Endgame, you're not going to know what's going on. And the thing is, a lot of people don't understand that how these Marvel movies are, is that you can't just watch. They're not just trilogies. You can't just watch Captain America, the first Avenger, then you watch Winter Soldier, then you watch Civil War. You're not going to know exactly what's going to happen. So you have to watch all the other Marvel movies to understand this particular movie. And they said this movie's going to take place after Endgame. So whatever events happen in Avengers Endgame, Black Panther 2 is going to come after that. And also, there's a lot of stuff in Black Panther 2 they have to address, like what happened to Wakanda when Shirley and T'Challa were dusted by Thanos' snap, and what happened to half of the Wakanda army, and what happened to the people when Thanos snapped and wiped out half of the universe. Like, what happened to Wakanda during that time, and what happened to Atlantis during that time? Like, why didn't they say anything? Was Namor around during that time, or was he just quiet about it? Like, what happened when T'Challa and Shirley got dusted by the snap? So there's a lot of questions they're going to have to give us as well. But I do think Atlantis vs. Wakanda will be a great storyline. I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be up there with that Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War type level. And again, we don't know. Again, we'll find out more details about it in probably the end of 2020 or 2021, because they don't start filming until 2021, and Ryan Coogler has a bunch of projects. He's doing Space Jam 2 and other stuff as well. So Ryan Coogler has a lot of stuff on his plate. So whenever he does Black Panther 2, the sequel, I want to make sure he takes his time and make sure he gets it right. And this movie's going to be more for comic book fans than anything else, because this storyline is not a grounded storyline. If you watch Aquaman, the CGI, whatever, you will get an idea of what's going to kind of happen with the sequel of Black Panther 2. So all the CGI and the dolphins and Atlanteans that happen in Aquaman, you're going to kind of have that mixed with the Wakanda battle. So I'm just giving you an estimate, a visual idea of what I'm talking about. And also, I'll show you some stuff to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about if they do Black Panther 2. So this is comic book. And then this is X-Men vs. Avengers. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, this is where... But then this is after, that's in the X-Men vs. Avengers. This is where he attacks a Wakanda with the Dark Phoenix power. So I just gave you guys an estimate, a visual feel of Black Panther 2 if they do the sequel. So I want to show you guys proof to show you that I wasn't just BSing you and lying of what I'm saying is true or isn't true. So that's really it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for Black Panther 2 when it comes out in May, in like 2 to 3 years from now? Are you guys just like whatever? Are you guys more interested to see the Fantastic Four, X-Men? Me personally, I really want to see Black Panther 2 because I think that would be, I think it's going to be a dope story. I think it's going to be amazing. And I think it's something that everybody and their grandmother is going to go see. And I do believe it's another billion-dollar movie, in my personal opinion. I think it's going to be dope. I think it's going to be amazing. And I do think a lot of people are going to love it. And I do think people are going to like Namor. Again, I feel like the reason why they needed the storyline, because if you don't know, in the comic book world, Black Panther never got the Spider-Man, Superman, Batman treatment where he got this crazy rose gallery of villains. Black Panther doesn't have a lot of villains. Black Panther's villains are pretty limited. So Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan did such a great job with Killmonger. The only person like, the thing is that after Killmonger, who is the next villain that could, take on that mantle for Black Panther 2? And everyone's saying Namor. And also the thing is, well, I think Namor's owned by Universal, so Disney has to work out some deal to bring him in the MCU, or at least put him in a sequel. I think they'll get that out because they teased him already. So whatever Disney and Universal works out, I think they're going to put whatever the issues they have, or political or contract issues, I think they'll work it out to make sure Black Panther, Namor becomes in Black Panther 2. And I do believe that they won't make a movie about him, but I do believe that I don't think they'll make a movie about him because I think it'll be too much compared to Aquaman. But I think if you have him as an anti-hero, a villain to Black Panther, I think it will be a lot better, and I think it will resonate a lot more. And I think people will look at Namor not more as the villain, but you understand his point of view. You'll kind of look at him as like a Loki, a Killmonger, a Thanos, a Mysterio. Like, the way they're doing it is evil, but you understand why they're doing it. So that's really it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree with me? Are you excited for Black Panther 2? Or are you guys just like, whatever? Are you more interested in X-Men, Fantastic Four, Captain Marvel 2, Guardian Galaxy 3, and Phase 5? Let me know in the comment section below. Rate and like the video and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Peace and have a great night and take care.